Hello students, through this video we are going to study about the lesson from your voyage, and the name of the lesson is Dream Children, a Reverie. Written about a dream world, the essay Dream Children by Charles Lamb belongs to his famous work Essays of Elia published in London magazines. Referring to himself by the pseudonym Elia, Lamb has penned down the essays as personal accounts of his life devoid of any didactic or moral lessons. Enriched with humor, pathos, and regret, Lamb's essays leave an everlasting impression on the minds and hearts of us. He is considered as most lovable figure in English literature by his biographer E.V. Lucas. Lamb had spent a pathetic life. He had to quit studies at 14 and obtained clerkship in South Sea House. But soon he left this job and joined the British East India Company, where he worked till his retirement. He is still remembered for his autobiographical essays. In this essay, he has expressed his frustration of being a bachelor all the life. Dream Children, a Reverie is an outburst of a flow of imagination of Charles Lamb. He wrote this essay when he was nearing 50. His life was not at all happy. Lamb wanted a family and children, but they were denied to him in his actual life. So he is indulged in dreams with his imaginative children. This essay makes us aware of his deepening touchiness in life. From the last line of this lesson, it is understood that Lamb was fresh and heavy on his mind because of the death of his elder brother John Lamb. Also in his youth, he had a disappointing love affair with a girl named Anne Simons, who afterwards married a man named Bartram. So students, let us read the essay to know about his deepening loneliness in life. Charles Lamb begins his essay Dream Children by describing to his young children Alice and John the tales of his childhood when he used to live with his great-grandmother Mrs. Field in nostalgic tone. Lamb narrates to the children the humorous details of his time spent in his great-grandmother's house, the love between the two brothers, Charles and John, their frequent wanderings and mischiefs in the great house, and their memories of the orchard trees and the fish pond. The tone of the essay shifts from humorous to tragic when Lamb describes the death of his beloved brother and great-grandmother, whom he loses at an early age of his life. Children are usually fond of listening to the stories of their ancestors. The writer's children, in fact, imaginary, came closer to him to know about their great-grandmother Field, who lived in a great house in Norfolk. The writer continued to say interesting facts about Field. Field was a highly religious lady, loved and respected by all. She was in fact not the mistress of the great house, but just a caretaker of it. Still, she lived with dignity. When she died, her funeral was attended by a concourse of all the poor and some of the gentry of the neighborhood. People came from many miles to show their respect for her memory. Further, the writer said that Field was tall, upright, and graceful lady. She was an esteemed dancer in her youth. Later, she suffered from the deadly disease cancer, which put her in pain. But she was still upright, as she was so good and religious. Field used to sleep by herself in a lone chamber of the great lone house. She usually believed that two infants used to glide up and down the great staircase near where she slept during midnight. The writer was scared, for he never saw any infant. However, Field was always very good to all her grandchildren. She liked to have all the children with her in the house during holidays. The writer enjoyed his loneliness even there. He was always alone in himself, even there in the house of the grandmother. Then the writer told John and Alice, the two children who were taking much interest in the story, that the grandmother loved all the grandchildren with joy, but she had special attention to John L. John L. was a very handsome and spirited youth. He loved the great house and cared the garden. He used to carry the writer on his back, for he was a bit older than the writer. It was because the writer was a lame-legged and couldn't walk long. Later, he himself became lame and was in great pain. His painful death haunted the writer for long. The writer missed him much, for he had loved him much. He missed his brother's kindness, closeness, and wished him to be alive again, to be quarrelling with him. The children tried to listen to the stories about their pretty dead mother. The writer continued that he courted the fair Alice, but when he explained how he was denied of marriage, what pain did he suffer from, children were emotional. They thought and realized that they were not real children born of the writer and Alice. They were merely dreams. The writer was awakened, and there was none around him, neither John nor Alice. Dream Children by Charles Lamb highlights the pain and regret of losing loved ones in life, persuading the essayist to indulge in a dream world fantasy in order to reflect upon the sweet memories of the days gone by. Enriched with pathos, the essay describes the importance of childhood and the dear ones in the life of an individual without whom the world appears to be dark alley, suffocating the individual at every turn.